Hello everyone, welcome back to the Don Pod. I was going to say the only podcast on... I don't even know where I was going with that. Welcome back.
We rehearse so much
We do.
that it really shows at the start where Sam, he just doesn't even know what he's doing.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
He's has had the day off work today and it's all just a little bit what the...
Yeah, so I might try that again. Hello, welcome to the Don Pod. We are here, happy Easter, to preview Essendon Fremantle at Marvel Stadium, Easter Sunday, 4:40. Worst time slot, but hey, at least we have a public holiday on
I don't like
Monday.
that time slot at all.
No, neither.
It's just not a time I want to watch footy, to be honest.
The public holiday helps, so
yeah.
that is something. So I just wanted to tell a story quickly first, if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Love a story, Sam.
This blew my tiny mind.
Get comfortable.
Won't take long. Won't take up much of your time. Monday night, we go away the football, our signed footy. Thank you again, Essendon, for sending me that. That was really awesome. Kane won it. Panicked a bit, not going to lie, because I didn't realise you couldn't sort of get in touch as easily as I thought you could on YouTube.
He did panic about this, people.
I wanted to run a fair competition and not have to redo it and, have any questions raised about the podcast's integrity. Anyway, yesterday morning, Wednesday morning, I got a little notification saying Kane had commented on that video. I was yes, ripper. So I got on there and said, hey mate, can you just send us a message on the Facebook? You don't need to be publishing your address on the internet for the world to see. And I gave him the option. I said, hey, look, I'm going to the game this week. Do you want to meet in Melbourne and I can give you your footy then? If not, happy to post it. Now, I've got to be careful because obviously I can't give away where anyone lives. But he kind of said, oh, look, I live a bit far away from Melbourne and I went down last week, so it's probably a bit hard. And then proceeded to give me his postal address, which is about a 2-minute drive from where I live. We live in a town of about 2,500 people, and we live in the exact same town. So I went over to Kane's house this morning and I dropped off his footy, spoke to his lovely partner, and yeah.
And Sam got a new best friend.
So just completely blew my mind. Of all the people I picked, of all the I don't know him, never met the guy before in my life.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so there you go.
His nickname, does he get called Cal?
Cal? Oh, Cal Knight.
Cal,
yeah. Yeah,
I was wondering about that.
If I ever chat to the man again,
Surely people call him Cal.
I'll see how he goes with that nickname. But yeah, There you go. Footy's handed out and amazing. Just amazing. Small world.
Well,
here I was
story.
Assuming every single person who goes for Essendon lives in Melbourne except me and Nathan. Anyway, we'll crack on. Freo, currently 3 wins, 1 loss. Third on the ladder, can you believe? Fremantle. I can too, actually, though. They're a little bit under the radar.
Had them. You had them in your top
4, maybe, at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Which can still obviously go very wrong. It's round 4. Interestingly, a little bit like last week, we go into a game with our last 5 against them, all wins. 4 of those games in Melbourne, 1 away. Interestingly, that 1 away was our biggest win of the lot. Close games. The last 2, I think, have been 6 and 7 points. And the last time we played them was a 7-point win in round 9 last year. To me, they're a bit of a dull affair. I seem to think of that Fremantle game at Marvel, that they just very boring. Even though Freo don't really play that style anymore, they've still got that really just...
Well, they're a very defensive mindset team.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll touch on that later. That's good little preempting from you. Just quickly for us, McDonald, Tippenwoody and Jones kicked 2 goals each. Obviously not going to have either of them. Singles to Ham, Langford, Parrish, Phillips, Redmond and Peter Wright. The big 7-seater.
Oh boy.
Darcy Parrish, 39 touches, 10 clearances. That's a big day out at the office. I'm sure that was a 3-vote little game for him. Hind 31, which is interesting. Heppel and McGrath 27 each for Fremantle, and I was meant to do more research on this. Matt Taberner kicked 4. I swear that man only kicks goals against Essendon. Chera, Lobb, Mundy and Walters with 1 each. Brayshaw, 33 touches, 7 clearances, and Chera and Fife, 28. Obviously, Chera not a factor.
No.
So we play Carlton. I got to say, Fremantle's not a game I look forward to. It's not one I circle at the start.
No, they're that interstate club that don't have a lot of emotional connection for us. Like they're not a rivalry club. I don't hate them. Like they're there. They're Freo, you know.
Yeah,
the poor buggers haven't ever won anything, so
they got
you can't.
13 points of a Hawthorn side that won 3 in a row in a grand final. Not bad.
Yeah,
they got Fife.
They still have
quite
them.
like
I do love the Nat Fife.
Nat Fife, sorry, yeah, love that man. So yeah, not a lot of feeling in this one for us. It'll be my first game for the year live. I'm heading down, so that'll be good. A bit of a different insight for the review. In terms of the lineups, the teams. No, why you've got me on Kath and Kim. Snelling is out for us. Obviously, he popped his calf last week, so he'll be out for a little while. In on the extended bench will be Hobbs, Baldwin, Cox, and Cutler. For the Fremantle, Lockie Schultz out with health and safety protocols. Pearce, Sarong, Tucker, and Wilson in. So, this is
now just on that, Sam. I don't know if you noticed too. With the team naming, with the actual again, you know how we looked into the sort of bench and sort of who's the trying to work it out. I see Nick Cox is actually named on the wing.
Right. Well, that to me. And this is what I was about to say. The lovely thing about Sunday games is we can just take stabs in the dark and see throw shit and see what sticks.
Whereas Baldwin's named as the last emergency, as the last change bench position. So that.
Well, you think straight away that's the swap. Snelling for Cox. It's not really like for like, but at least Cox is a runner.
It could mean other players move around.
Yes. I want to get your opinions. I think we might have touched on this.
You're going to get them.
Yes, I don't even have to ask sometimes. Hobbs, do you want to see him playing? Do you want to see him a bit more time in the Magoos? What do you want?
Well, he didn't play last week because of the scheduling with the VFL and the AFL. So, yes, it's a good question. I probably would. He's been playing quite well in the VFL. I would like to see just a couple of games, where he gets sort of like best on in VFL. I mean, he's a long-term prospect. He doesn't. I guess his position is not. I don't know how that would go structurally for us because. Him and Snelling, I guess you could argue there's a similarity. They could play a small forward midfield role, so that would make sense.
I'd
probably like to see him back in the VFL.
Yeah, okay. So VFL do play at 2:10 on Sunday, so we're going to have that same scenario.
Really?
Yeah, where that's just how it's going to roll. I don't know, bring back is the right term.
Well, does he bring more
raises? VFL start.
Yeah, I'd agree, 100%.
And then AFL, and same with the women's. When we get the AFL women's, have them play before the seniors. I don't
know if you've heard that we've drafted a few women into our team.
I did.
It's caused a bit of an upset amongst
from Carlton. Excellent news.
Yep.
I honestly can't remember their names. I did get told a number of times.
It's terrible. That's all right. Doesn't matter. Move on. We can't learn 2 teams yet. We're struggling with 1.
Yeah, we're struggling with 1. Anyway, I'm with you on Hobbs. I would rather now see him, and I think someone commented on Monday, leave him in the 2s, get him some form, get him playing good football at that level, and then after the bye, give him some exposure. If we'd started him in the AFL side, sure. But, yeah, give him a bit of time in the 2s to get it right and to work on his.
And I guess my question would be, I know we were all calling for Ham, for example, to come out of that team, which we all want Ham out of the team. But Ham was playing on a wing-ish role. So if Nick Cox is going to come back in and take that role, then that's certainly not a role we're expecting Hobbs to play. We're not expecting him to go play on a wing in that role. Whereas the Snelling, so my thoughts could be, here's what I'm going to throw out.
Okay, throw it.
Ham and Snelling will come out and Cox and Hobbs will come in.
Okay, I like it. What was I was going to say something on that then. I got nothing. Ham is named on the bench, which feeds into that theory that he might miss.
He's named on like deep on the bench too.
Yeah.
I wonder if Smith come in
That's
instead
what I was
of
going.
actually
Thank you.
Oh.
I still haven't got my head around that whole Medi-sub thing.
Yeah, the medical sub thing.
I'll Google it. If he's into that, because
yeah, that's
he
a good
doesn't
point.
have to come in, does he? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think he does. See, I think that's a better point, actually, is that if Smith comes in for Snelling, so there's the replacement there, and then...
It would be in no one out Snelling. If that was the change, that's how
right.
it would read. Okay. So then, maybe it is Cox. I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it is.
I love this because we do it every week. No one ever comments and says how it do
One
it.
of us will work out how the sub rule affects the team selection,
I think I just got it right. So we'll roll.
Yep, we'll go with that, Sammy.
Rock and roll with that. It'll be interesting because Ham is one of those ones that seems a little bit untouchable at the present time.
What? We don't know.
Has photos of someone or something. Who knows?
Well, he's just a weak link in the team. His size is not anything special. He's not a great kick. He's not a great mark. He's not quick.
That's what grinds my
gears. He like the number of sets, like running into goal. The number of open kicks goals. He misses. Open goals he misses is crushing.
Yeah.
And then you got guys like Guelphy, who you might argue are on that fringe as well. But he puts his body on the line. Tackles, smothers, shepherds. He's giving that, and you can at least accept that. I don't think Guelphy's the most skilled player in our team, but I love the attitude he's bringing.
Yeah, and that's what stands out for me. The smothers, those efforts,
and he does kick the goals. When I'm running into goal, he kicked that goal.
Yes. That one time, yeah.
Yeah, he does miss a few too. It's another thing there. But then I think we've got a full team full of guys that don't know how to kick very well.
Which is why we have such a lot of time for Peter Wright.
Peter.
Loved him, the 7-seater. For Freo, and we won't spend too much time on this again just because they're a little bit irrelevant to us over here on the east coast of the country. Lockie Schultz out with health and safety. Caleb Sarong is the name on that list that jumps out at me. Alex Pearce is one of their better defenders.
Tall defenders, yeah. He's a tall defender.
You would assume
he's a good player.
Yeah. Yes,
I think the thing that Sean Darcy's a very big, strong ruckman.
Yes.
Rory Lobb, and then, Mundy. I mean, Brayshaw's, he'd have votes in the Brownlow at the moment. Like, a couple of his games have been unreal. Will Brodie also which really I don't understand why we didn't pick up, because he was being shopped, he left Gold Coast, didn't he? And for basically nothing. And he's been awesome up there in the first 4 games, like averaging 20-odd touches and getting
Yes, sorry. I was about to say Andy's from Victoria, but that's the wrong guy. I was looking at Brayshaw. So,
right. So, look, and they got great pace, like Walters, that Frederick is very, very quick. Jordan Clark's got some great pace about him.
The addition of Sarong helps a lot.
Yeah, the Sarong, if he plays, it could be still a bit iffy on him because he was on crutches like a week ago, so I'm not expecting really him to have got up. But then, Snelling did.
One of the very few times I've watched Fremantle in my life. Last year they played Richmond when Richmond were kind of on that little downfall, which was a great time of my life. Sarong kicked goal of the year against them.
Yes.
Oh, no, that was against West Coast. Different game. It was against West Coast. I must have watched them twice. Never mind. Brilliant. Awesome goal. One of the better moments on a game of football that I've watched. He's
a handy player.
One moment, of course, but it was great. Just on your Andrew Brayshaw, averaging 30 touches for the year, doesn't really hit the scoreboard all that much. 6.5 tackles a game. Yep. We're getting 30 touches and we'll say 6 or 7 tackles.
I imagine we're not going to tag because, but
why would we?
McGrath might run around near him like he did, I guess. Well, we did that a bit more after our version of tagging after the Lockie Neal incident. And if you have a look at Lockie Neal, if you go back far enough and you play I think he's had 40 touches when he played for Freo against us. Like it goes back that far of how much he's enjoyed playing against us. Anyway, I think we'll keep an eye on him, but I don't think this is a midfield that we need to tag. There's not. Brayshaw's going to get close to 40 touches, but we should be able to negate that with
your own. Yeah.
Yeah, this is when you did the old trust your system, isn't it? That they say. Tell us.
That's what Truck said after Lockie Neal tore us a new one.
Trust your system.
And then we went against our system the week after.
That's right. Whereas I think this is this is a team you can trust your system or test your system, maybe is a better word, where you want to see how it goes against another team that I guess we would argue that we would have put somewhere around our mark at the start of the year.
Well, I had them beyond us.
You had them higher.
The footballing public maybe had them around us.
Yeah.
I think they're a decent side. I think they've got their forward line, maybe not so much, but their back line's quite solid. Their midfield's quite good. They've got Sean Darcy, who's a great ruckman. Forever in my heart as the bloke that got me into a fantasy grand final. Where I beat you, just quietly.
Oh.
So I think they're a good side. I'm not going to be heartbroken if it's a loss. I still want to see us play good football because that's all I ever care about. Just go into some numbers.
Well, on that, can I jump in just quickly?
You may.
Well, so we were talking about them as a defensive side, and that's probably is their strength because they are currently ranked second in the actually I'll call it 17th in the AFL for points against. So they're the second hardest team to score against.
I get what you mean. It's a hard one. Yep. They've conceded the second least amount of points.
Yeah. Whereas guess who's conceded the most amount of points at Sam? Just throw a name out there. I'll give you a hint.
It'll be us.
It'll be they're red and black.
St Kilda.
No, it's us. So we are giving away at the moment about 108 points a game, and they're giving away 62 points a game. So that's a very good defensive team.
And what does defence do?
Defence wins premierships.
Titles. Yep.
Titles.
Same. It's a soccer quote, so you have to say titles, not premierships. But for our sport, yep.
So it's going to be really hard for us we don't have the best forward line, I think we'll agree. Score somewhere around the vicinity of 10 goals. Like, you're going to need to score 10 goals. 60-odd points could get you a win in this game, realistically.
And history shows that has got us wins. The last 5 games, as I said, we've won. Our points for 68, 63, 87, 60, and 99 in those games. So 99, the highest score, 3 in the 60s. So
whereas Freo have won games at the moment with so they've what have they got? 102, 102, 83, and 88. So they've won. If they get to 88, they've won.
Yep.
Whereas we've had to get to nearly 100. Well, we had to get over 100 to win.
Yeah. Adelaide scored 99.
We've only been able to score 70.
This isn't surprising to us, though. Like, we're not surprised that our defence is lacking. We're a little bit probably surprised how lacking.
Yeah. So the takeaway from that is that they will stop us from kicking goals. The question is, can we also stop them? Which we haven't done to any team so far.
Yeah.
Because even we let Adelaide kick basically 100 points against us. 99, we'll call that 100.
And we did that last year. We were the only team at one point or another. I don't know if this carried through the whole season. We had 3 games. There were 3 games in the season where a team had scored over 100 and lost, and all 3 of them were us.
I don't think we're as bad as the points against last year. Like, we were in the top sort of 6 to 8. We weren't horrible. We were somewhere decent. But last year we were 4th, I want to say, in the points for, which is why we'd won, strangely enough. Yes, we were one of the top 4 or 5 top scoring teams from last year. So that was weird. And that's what won us some of those games. Which is weird because I thought we were all about defence. Like, as we hear from our coaching panel all the time.
So Brisbane were far and away the biggest scorers last year, 21-31. Bulldogs 19-94. Shidoni 1986, and then us on 1953.
Yeah, fourth. Mm.
The premiers, eventual premiers, 1888 points for, but they were also the least points against.
So they're the most miserly team to score, and that's the key. If you look at probably even the second and third, they would have been all top 4 teams. They're all like the Port Adelaides, maybe Geelong might have been there. They're those teams
without
you have
the numbers to back me up properly. It's not new. I wouldn't think.
This is old data.
Premiers every year would be in the top 3 for least points against.
Yep. Well, top 3 for points for and top 3 for points against. You've got to be around those top marks to win flags. You don't have one that's blown out either way because you just can't afford to have teams score 100 points against you all the time.
Yeah, correct.
I think Adelaide probably would have been the last one I could think of when they were scoring massive numbers and leaking a lot.
The history for us, we score a lot, but we concede a lot.
Yeah, and you've just got to get better at the conceding factor because the scoring
bang in the middle all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's going to be the big challenge for us. It's going to be a really low scoring, dour. Is that the one?
Dour, boring. Yep, one of them.
Yeah, it will be boring.
It is quite funny. First time this week, I've gone to FootyWire website and had a look at I'm trying to find some stats around goal sources because I'm sick of doing that myself. So if you know anywhere to find that data, hit us up. FootyWire have as a team your statistical ranking, so your high and your lows, right? No, there was nothing overly obvious in Fremantle's. They were just a good side, solid side.
Yeah.
We have 6 high rankings. We're ranked 3rd for marks per game. We're ranked 2nd for hitouts per game. We're ranked 4th for goal assists per game. That's probably one of the more useless stats I've ever read, but anyway.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. 6 of them. The least rankings, there's at least 15.
And they're all like 16 to 18. Like we're grouped in the bottom.
So if I just go the 17th and 18th ones, just to save you all the pain, tackles per game were 17th. Clangers per game were 17th, which I assume is a bad thing.
I assume is a bad thing. Like that's the most clangers, I imagine. Anyway.
Oh God, I can't bother. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. 18th in opponent points per game, as you touched on.
Yeah.
18th in least opponent inside 50s per game. That means to say we're first in opposition entries into our forward 50. We have the most opposition entries in our forward 50. We're 18th for most goal assists per game against, obviously.
Yep.
17th in opponent clearances.
Yep.
They word it weirdly. 17th in least opponent clearances per game. That means that we're 2nd in opponent clearances. Yep.
Anyway.
17th in point differential. 17th in clangers per game differential. That's a lot. That's bad.
Well, there's a lot of really bad. The little board that they look at during the game must be a lot of red lights going.
A lot of red lights. My goodness. I had last week, even though we won, I had a little bit of a dummy spit through the toys out the cot.
He did.
And Jace, who is one of the admin guys on the Facebook page, was like, "Dude, chill. It's not all that bad. Remember that we overachieved last year, and we shouldn't be expecting continual improvement yet." But if we'd finished bottom 4 last year, I would have gone, "Yeah, righto. That's probably roughly where we thought we were going to be." But my concern, and we can have this conversation now, I feel like a bit more than after the Adelaide win. Where's the improvement come from right now? From last year to this year, for me, straight off the bat, Peter Wright, and that could be just down to system with Phillips playing, the 2 rucks, and Nick Martin, Rusty.
Yep.
Apart from that, yes, we've got a lot of injuries. That doesn't help. To good players. Stringer, Langford, Merritt, and others that I can't think of right now.
Yep.
But Parrish had a very good season last year, so it would have been very difficult to match that, but hasn't improved. Caldwell, not to improve, I guess, because he wasn't in the team last year. Shield, same as Caldwell a little bit. But the defenders have gotten worse. as a collective unit and as individual players have gone backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Can't put Kelly.
Ridley's getting worse, I would nearly say.
Ridley is becoming the guy who has the football, and I just go, please do the right thing. Which previously would just
We didn't say that
keep
at
my
all.
feet up. Just about. Waller was the other one that we're missing out on.
Yeah.
It just frustrates me that, I would have just liked to have seen Perkins, actually, sorry. I'm arguing in my own head here. Perkins is another one that's improved quite a lot. But it's the hams of the world, is if I could encapsulate all our problems into one player, which is wildly unfair.
Yeah, and we don't want to lump too much pressure on the guy. I mean, you've got to remember, you're an elite footballer to make it to AFL and play 50-odd games like he nearly would have so far. So I give him full credit. But in the cut and throatness of AFL, you've got to make hard and horrible decisions, and you don't need to be. You're not trying to make best friends with everyone. You're trying to win premierships, and you're trying to have great success with clubs, and that sometimes means that you have to move these kind of guys that might be great blokes around the club, but you have to just move them on. And he's not up to standard. There's nothing that says he's going to make it.
Correct. And I would be complimentary that we've done that last year with Hooker and with Zaharakis. But now I'm going, we could do with a goal kicker. Like Hooker. Good Hooker.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with the Hooker. Hooker's body was...
Not Hooker exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have another forward.
But I think this stems back, though. I think we would look deeper into we could do this another time, but if we looked into... And we've talked about this, our drafting choices over the last, say, I don't know, 6-7 years.
Just on that, actually, someone made a really good point. We said about the ladder and how we have never really bottomed out. We also had 2 years where we got our first-round draft pick taken away. Yeah,
that's right. And then around that period too, what years were they?
I would say 13, 14.
Yep, because then we got McGrath in 16, didn't we? So we got...
And we got Merritt.
Did we get punished before or after?
No, we got before.
Yeah, okay. But then what we did too is, so we got McGrath, and then in I'm going to guess, what did you did Sard and Stringer and Shield all arrive? 18, 19?
2017. No, 2018.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, if you look at the data, for example, so in 2016 we drafted McGrath and Ridley as our two sort of main players. No one else from that draft is at the club. In 2017 we picked 49 Houlihan, who I don't think is playing for us anymore. We picked 66 was BZT and 76 is Guelphy. Now you're hitting at 17, you're hitting guys that would be 5 years at the club, so you'd be up to that sort of 50 to 100 games, somewhere around there or maybe more. Then you hit the year after that, we gave away our first picks. We got Mosquito, Gawn, and Ham came in at pick 72. He's still at the club. The other two are gone. So 2017, 2018, we got Guelphy and Ham, who are senior listed players still. In 2019, we picked up Jones and the Ruckman Bryant. So they were better, but that was pick 30 and 38. We still haven't got any, Jones was our highest pick at 30 in those 3 years.
That's when you're getting into the territory where it's too soon to tell.
That's right. But what my issue is that you've put the hole in the development and you relied on Sard, Stringer, and Smith and Shield, but the problem, and this is hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. We can sit back and look at it. Shield's probably gone. Shield's not playing the football we expected him to play. Sard left us in the end. Smith 2 weeks ago wasn't even basically in our best 22. And Stringer is still an injury concern, but when he's on the park, he's our best player. So my issue is that we're going to pay the price still for a few more years.
This last thing, and then we'll move on. I wish we'd done a podcast at that point in time, because not when we got Shield, I was very excited to get Shield and thought we were a U-Butte. But it pretty quickly became apparent the next year we were nowhere near where we thought we were.
Yeah.
Not even close. So... And then we're paying the price for that now. If we had those draft picks, it's self-inflicted as much as anything else. We're not blaming the system or anything.
No. And if you had those draft picks, you might have picked the wrong guys. Who knows? That's not. It's not simple. Just
2016 where there's not really a standout from that draft.
Yeah.
the top three, McGrath, Taranto,
We're all good players,
McCluggage, all
Yep.
good players. Taranto was never going anywhere other than GWS.
Yep.
So for us, it was either McGrath or McCluggage. McCluggage is good in a good side, so he's a good player. I wouldn't say Pidge is a bad player, but he hasn't really been brilliant.
No, he hasn't. He's not one of the greatest.
Other than that, there was no one in that draft that we went, oh God, we stuffed that up, didn't we?
Yeah. So my point is that I think that we've got to, hopefully in 21, 22, 23, like in 20 we picked up Perkins Reid and Cox, 21 we picked up Hobbs, maybe guys like Lord will be good. We've got Martin, obviously.
Yeah, Rusty's been...
Durham came to the club around that period. Snelling came the year before in the SPP. Like they were probably better picks, Snelling, Durham, than some of the guys in the 3 years before.
And then you can just argue all that with McDonough.
Yeah, then McDonough was the weird one. McDonough's the one we don't get. And we don't understand why the club picked a 5-year-old,
one of them,
someone like that, who is playing VFL and doesn't look anywhere like he's going to get an AFL game. Like
the only way that would have made sense is if he played round one and is an AFL football.
And I understand you have backups for players, but not a 26-year-old. Why wouldn't you have just picked at pick 50? You just pick a 19-year-old and go.
And then in the rookie draft, you take your risky ones.
Yeah. It's just a weird one here. Like Lord and Voss and those guys are the guys that they're still playing VFL. Yeah, like they're guys that you go, you take them in high picks, you see what's going to happen. There's a history showing that a lot of those 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s picks can be still very, very, very good players.
James Herb was a pick 79.
But I don't know how many 26-year-olds at pick 50 have turned out to be good who don't go straight into the senior side.
Podsy,
I don't know, it's a weird one, that one.
It is a weird one. Well, we'll move on.
We've gone on a tangent, though.
We have, absolutely.
I apologise.
I'm going to bring back a segment from last year, and I'm going to tweak it a little bit because otherwise it's the same answer every week, which is why we dropped it.
Oh, is this...
Why do we win is the essential thing, but I want you to be specific to one player. Just give me one player and a stat, and if Joe Blow has 38 goals, we'll win.
I'll tell you what, if Peter Wright kicks 6, we win. Because that means their defensive system's fallen down and we've outscored them.
Okay. Well, I can't answer now because that was basically mine.
Okay, I'll go. Well, if Parrish has 42 touches and kicked 2 goals.
42 and 2, right? You heard it here first.
Because that means that, again, we've pumped the ball in that many times.
10-goal loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're here in the live on Facebook, we're doing that all the time now. Get on it. Glory and Fame on Facebook. Give us your tip, please. I'll read them out in just a minute. I will first get Nathan's tip, please. Quickly.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I think we can win it by 3 points.
Jesus, we're deluded some days.
I know. It's stupid. We'll lose by 40, but we'll go. The drugs, man. There's something wrong in our brains that tells us that
word is banned in Essendon culture.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, true. It's like the experiment, with the Simpsons. It makes me think of where Lisa was tricking Bart with the kept touching something, and he kept getting a shock. Mm-hmm. There's a psychiatric thing for it. And we're like that. We go no, yep, no, yep.
We'll sit here all week, and we have sat here all week and talked about how garbage we are, and then roll up on the weekend and go, yeah, we should win this. Well, this is
I'll get to the start of the game and go, okay, I think we can win this. I think we can. Yeah, look, yep. I'll be just like, what the happened there?
Look, I think Fremantle will win. I think we can win just because I think we can win every game of football we play. Week. We just don't. I'll say Freo by 15, but that's just because I think they're a good side, and I kind of got to stick with that prediction.
Well, the only thing that I'm going to say why I think we can beat Freo is because realistically, and this is an important thing, they beat GWS last week at home, which is a good win. Mm-hmm. But behind that, they've beaten West Coast, which I think we'll all agree is a nothing. They lost to St Kilda, which looked like a pretty good team, and they beat Adelaide by a point. So on form. They haven't really beaten anyone. GWS are who knows the hell what you're getting
They're up and
sometimes with them.
down, yep.
They're world beaters one week. But West Coast and Adelaide, it's not anything we beat Adelaide. Let's be honest.
It must be bad.
Anyway, that's my theory.
So you're Dons by 3, I'm Freo by 15, and I think I'm being kind, to be frank.
Whereas I think I'm just right.
Oh, Peter, right. I'm just going to read through some comments that time of the evening. Thank you to everyone contributing. Bit more quiet tonight, not coming off a win. Shock horror. It's just a preview, just a lowly preview. Peter said g'day. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
He also said, surely Ham doesn't make the cut. I like what you did there.
Yes, that's very clever, Peter.
We agree. We'll see what happens.
We agree, but we were surprised he was in the team last week and the week before. He played didn't he play 16 games last year or something like that? Or was that
it was a very high number. No, both of them.
It was a high number. So what do we know?
Yeah, we don't know. Arthur, and I'm not going to try. Arthur Raftopoulos. Apologies. They'll tag Parish for sure. We'll make it hard to win clearances. I think we have a knack. We have a knack with centre clearances. Even if it's not Parish, it'll be Caldwell, and she'll do okay in that department. So if they want to tag Parish out, that means they're taking a player out.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm trying to think who their tagging sort of guys are. Like
again, it's Freo. I've got no idea.
Yeah, no, they don't. It doesn't jump. Normally, like with GWS, we got De Boer and De Beer and Ash.
Freo used to have De Boer. Who did they have? They had a mad tagger at one point.
Oh, they did have that. Didn't that guy who was a rookie? Didn't he tag? Was a very good fantasy rookie.
McBarlow.
Yeah, Barlow. Did he tag? No.
I don't think. No.
Okay.
If you're still here, let us know, and I'll get to your comment because I'm reading them in order. So.
Yep.
Yep. Adam, what if Hobbs just clicks in the ones like Nick Martin?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, but Nick Martin's 22.
Older. Yeah, so I think
Martin's
that's probably the difference.
Yeah. I think I'm not worried about Hobbs. I think he's going to be a great player. It's just that I think his role, which, he's an inside mid, where does he play? Like, can he play forward? And I don't know enough about him to know he can play as a forward as well. Because Snelling, we know, can play forward in that, mid forward role.
Anyway, wasn't a dig. It wasn't a knock on Hobbs.
No.
More of a
I think it's
comment that
not at all. I was just
to the scene.
Yep.
Matthew Sell. The comments keep going out of whack here. Smith, Cox, Cutler, Hobbs in. Ham, Snelling, Wanganeen out.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Don't mind that. Again, we talked about Wanganeen last week. He'd be stiff, but he needs a bit of time in the twos as well.
And look, I feel very different about him compared to Ham because Wanganeen's got a talent. Like you can see he's a very gifted football. Well, it's not just his old man, but he's a gifted player. Like you can see the way he moves and the way he kicks. Like that one goal he's kicked was a beautiful little snap. Touched it once, picked it up, snap. Like that. That's touch. That's polish.
Craft about him.
And his tackling's been really good. Like he's been hard at it. He's a good size too. He's around the height you want. So anyway, but he's probably just still a bit light. But you can work on that.
And last one, unless someone gets in really quickly, Arthur says we are too predictable on our game plan and not being very skilled.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
We've said it before. We get beaten by what we know so often.
Mm-hmm.
So often, it's not even funny. Thankfully, this week I don't know anything about Fremantle, so I'll be surprised.
But it's a great point that we are very predictable. I think that's a really great point. We talk about our kickouts from fullback are really predictable. What we do there, we don't seem to take short options and try and just work our way down the field from short options, which is very hard to defend because if you can just get a player, then they have to come up and cover that player. Then you can find another hole. Try and, that requires good skills and patience, which we don't seem to have at the moment. We just go, okay, I can't see anyone. I'm kicking it 50 metres down the line. Boom.
Yeah, which doesn't work.
Teams defend for that. They're ready.
far as not being skilled, we talked about it for the Adelaide game. 3 drop marks, 3 goals to Adelaide. Uncontested marks. They're not...
Yeah.
Do the basics right, and I'll be happy most weeks, to be honest. Win or lose. If you do the basics right and you've got a decent list, you'll beat the teams meant to beat, lose to the teams that are better than you.
And then you can work on what you've got.
That's right. Which is a
we're not
really,
doing that.
really simple, basic ass way to look
it is,
at
but
do the basic shit right. That's why I love Dustin
we
Fletcher.
are just basic podcasters, Sam.
Dustin Fletcher did the basic shit right. Every time.
James Hird did the basic shit right all the time.
That man did everything right.
Yeah, but he still, was he flamboyant? Like, he wasn't flamboyant. He did make mistakes. He just didn't. Like Pendlebury. Here's a guy. He's not overly flamboyant. Like, I've never seen Pendlebury take a hanger or, do anything like maybe he's kicked goals from the boundary, but it's what he does is just handballs to the right situation, kicks to the right situation, marks the ball when he has to.
And
makes the right decisions.
Of the goddamn skill. I heard he had a bit more in front of goal, a bit more flair.
Fair enough. Yeah, he did.
That's a bit of a rough comparison on Hurdy. Pendlebury's very good, don't get me wrong, but
Pendlebury's very good player,
he's not James Hurd, so... The more you know. On that bombshell, that James Hurd is not Scott Pendlebury or vice versa, we'll wrap up. Any final thoughts from you?
No. I'll try and watch the VFL too to see how some of those young kids are going, because I hope in the next few weeks that we start to see some players. Well, thing I would like to discuss maybe next week is our injury list.
Injury management, yes.
Yeah, injury management. Like the Snelling thing was weird, how he came back the way and did his injury. We've now heard that Stewart, he's the calf he's got now for a few weeks, which was an injury that we thought was shorter. Stringer's gone for a few weeks. I'm concerned that, some of our players and how we're managing them it doesn't seem quite right. Then from the flip side of that is that we've got, and, to go into this conversation, we've got Reid playing VFL, and that's great. He's played, 2 weeks now, so he's coming into a third week. We've got Tip and Woody's coming into about a third week too. So hopefully these guys can start filtering into the senior team soon.
Here's a thought. I agree with everything you just said. Apologies, I'm listening to you. I'm going to leave you on this. I'll leave the listeners, all 3 of you at present,
I'm excited.
On this. Is there a possibility that for Anzac Day, we see in Harry Jones, Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody,
I like where you're going.
Jake Stringer.
I'm going to go with Reid as well too. Well, I like it. Yeah.
We're not going to discuss it any further.
No.
Stringer out hurts my soul. He's one guy that I love watching play football, and it pains me that he's not in that side. But how good would that be for Anzac Day? Oh. They can not play one game all year. Just get them all in for Anzac Day.
They'll probably all injure themselves during the game and we'll lose by 50 points. But anyway, I love it.
Yep. Cool. All right. Bit of a change to scheduling next week. Review will be on Tuesday night, I believe.
Yep. Well, Easter I'm going away. Terribly sorry.
Yeah. Family, other commitments. So we'll be here live on Facebook and all the other stuff on the Tuesday night. Doesn't really matter because it's a Sunday game, so I'm sure you will all be fine.
I'd like to think most people are away on holidays too and doing stuff too, so we're all...
Except for me that's going to the football and everyone else going.
Yeah, well, you're a bit of a loser.
Yeah. All right, go Dons. I sincerely hope we do win, even though I've tipped the Dockers, but let's just play some good footy. For the love of God, play some good football. Look like a decent football side. Give us some hope for Anzac Day. Go Dons.
Go Dons, and congratulations again to Kane.
Yes. Kano.
Our boy Kane. Sam's new best friend.
Had 28 years of my life. Best story
Sam's
of my
buddy from around the corner.
Go Dons.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Go Dons.
Awesome. It is.